We who are weak and wonderful, wicked, bewildered, wistful, and wild, are saying direct good mornings through the fever. These are the words of Gwendolyn Brooks. She was more than just a writer. She was a mother, a teacher, a literary doctor whose words were a salve to a community in desperate need of true representation. Her 1950 Pulitzer Prize was one of her many awards confirming the importance of Black representation on a national platform. Through the work of Brooks Commissions, we embrace her legacy and the continuation of that much-needed representation. Our broad range of offerings include licensing, The Gwendolyn Connection, the book, Seasons, a Gwendolyn Brooks Experience, Graphic Gwendolyn, our illustrated poetry series, and more exciting projects to come. The words of Gwendolyn Brooks are still amazingly meaningful. Whatever your mood or message, her insights challenge and comfort. From the front yard to the back alleys and beyond, she speaks to us. My poem is life and not finished. It shall never be finished. My poem is life and can grow. We are Brooks Permissions. Join us. To find out more, visit gwendolynbrooks.net.
joining us today. We're going to take a kind of departure today. We do a lot of very things, as I said, about the legacy, but we thought we were going to go for the inside scoop, or as I very poorly joked earlier today when I mentioned to somebody that we were going to get the skinny on Gwenny. So, um, talking about all kinds of different pieces of the puzzle of my mother's life. And so my name is Nora Brooks Blakely. I am the daughter of Gwendolyn Brooks, and I'm happy to be a part of this expose. So let's get started. So the first thing we wanted to do is talk about some of the basics. And with me are my partners in crime, Darius Colquitt, Cynthia Walls, and we're all going to be chatting about all kinds of things that you might or might not have known about Mama. So, the first thing, and can I get a groan here, please? She was not part of the Great Migration. Say, can I get an amen? Can I get a chorus? She was not.
She was not.
Of the Great. Go right there.
Look, it's been said time and time again.
Well,
Not
a lot of
true.
people. It is not true. Her mother and father already lived in Chicago, and my grandmother wanted to be with her mother when she had her first child. So she went back home to Topeka, Kansas, and that is where Gwendolyn Brooks was born. And within about 5 weeks, well, they all 5 week old baby didn't just get on and head back by herself, but they returned to Chicago, to their home. So yeah, so that's one of the first things that we wanted to make clear. And we're talking about her parents, so just wanted to share a little bit of an excerpt from her autobiography. Actually, it's in both parts of her autobiography, and it's called Parents, and it's an excerpt from Seasons of Gwendolyn Brooks' Experience. Home always warmly awaited us, welcoming, endorsing. Home meant a quick walking, careful, duty loving, never surly mother who had been a school teacher, who played the piano, sang in a high soprano, and wrote music to which I wrote the words, made fudge, made cocoa, and prune whip, and apricot pie. And my grandmother's apricot pie was awesome. Drew tidy cows and trees and expert houses with chimneys and chimney smoke, who helped her children with arithmetic homework. Home met my father, a janitor for McKinley Music Company. He had kind eyes, songs, and tense recitations for my brother and myself. We never tired of his stories and story poems. My father seemed to Gwendolyn and Raymond a figure of power. He had those rich artistic abilities, but he had more. He could fix anything that broke or stopped. He could build long lasting fires in the ancient furnace below. He could paint the house inside and out and could whitewash the basement. He could spread the American flag in wide, loud, clean magic across the front of our house on the 4th of July and on Declaration Day. He could chuckle. No one has ever had, no one will ever have a chuckle exactly like my father's. It was gentle, it was warmly happy, it was heavyish, but not hard. It was secure and seemed to us an assistant to the power that registered with his children always as magic. My father, too, was almost our family doctor. So, did your parents ever have any kind of doctoring abilities? Were there any kind of special things they gave you when you were sick?
Hmm.
I toddler or so that's the doctor.
Ugh.
I
No,
think for me it was the classic thing. It was the you know the hot chicken soup situation. Um, it was, but it had to be homemade because Campbell's wasn't real soup. Um, um, so yeah, that was more so my grandma's thing.
yeah, I remember
Okay.
just all the reading he did
Um,
on medical from
what
medical books.
medical books?
Yeah, that he read or
Oh, you mean my grandfather?
yeah,
Yes, yeah, he did. He wanted to be a doctor. Of course, in that time and place, what he was a janitor. But yeah, he did read masses of medical books, uh, and that was part of the way that he was able to doctor the family. Um, my mother carried down one of her was Vicks Vapor Rub, and like a lot of families, as I later learned, when you were sick, she had me eat Vicks Vapor Rub. And it wasn't until I was an adult and read the back of the jar and said, that woman was trying to kill me. Because it said, do not take internally. But I've been Vicks Vapor Rub when I was sick for all of my childhood. So,
Wow.
so yes.
that's
So if we got anybody in the audience that wants to share, if they ever had to eat Vicks Vapor Rub, I'd love to know.
What's What's funny is that you are definitely not the first person who I've heard say that.
really.
There were a lot of people eating Vicks Vapor Rub back in the day.
Yep.
I remember about first of all, uh, uh, full friend, and I just uh, had a pair. I was you.
So I think we're going to share a little bit about her.
All right. Well, I mean, we said schools, right? Is that what you said? Because I missed you a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. All right. So,
So
Gwendolyn Brooks. What was that, Nora? Oh, I think our connection is weird. That's all right. We're gonna push on. We're gonna push on. So we are looking at the schools that Gwendolyn Brooks attended. And Gwendolyn Brooks actually is infamous for having attended multiple high schools in Chicago. So um, she attended Hyde Park High School, transferred to Wendell Phillips High School, and then finished her schooling at Inglewood High School. So if there's anybody out there that's from any of those schools, hey, say what's up. Hey. Um, Now, after high school, Gwendolyn Brooks attended college over at Wilson Junior College, which is now known as Kennedy King College.
And the thing is, act- uh, Nora
I
and
think it's
I,
interesting because it's a full circle moment where um, later Chocolate Chips Theater Company ended up performing and having a space at Kennedy King. So
And that is how the three of us all met.
well, actually, I'd known Nora a little bit before,
Well,
but
yes.
way before.
I'd say a couple of years.
Um, and there's a lot of teaching going on in my family too. So my grandmother was a teacher. My mother did workshops for young children and high school children, and then she also taught at the college level. And I was a teacher. I taught for the Chicago Public Schools and everything. So I think what teachers that we all believe that what teachers have to say is really important, although you don't always have to agree with what teachers say.
This is very true. In fact, Miss Brooks wrote a piece about this idea, um, about what it is like to have an ideal thrust upon you that you don't necessarily agree with, and it's highlighted in the amazing edition seasons of Gwendolyn Brooks Experience, which you can pick up on our website. That piece being "I Am a Black," or also known as Kojo. According to my teachers, I am now an African American. They call me out of my name. Black is an open umbrella. I am black and a black forever. I am one of the blacks. We are here, we are there. We occur in Brazil, in Nigeria, Ghana, in Botswana, Tanzania, in Kenya, in Russia, Australia, in Haiti, Soweto, in Grenada, in Cuba, in Panama, Libya, in England and Italy, France. We are graces in any places. I am black and a black forever. I am other than hyphenation. I say proudly, my people. I say proudly, our people. Our people do not disdain to eat yams or melons or grits or to put peanut butter in stew. I am Kojo. In West Africa, Kojo means unconquerable. My parents named me the seventh day from my birth. in Black spirit, Black faith, Black communion. I am Koja. I am a Black, and I capitalize my name. Do not call me out of my name. Now, I just gotta say that is hands down one of my favorite Gwendolyn Brooks pieces. I'm gonna put that in the universe. The pride is just emanates from it. I love it. So we aren't the only ones that have thoughts that we'd like to share. We have other individuals who have sent their thoughts in, and we have one of those for you guys right now. So let's
Yeah,
pull that up.
powerful piece.
Say again. Uh-oh. Oh, we have two Northers.
Yeah.
All right. What? Wait. All right. Wait. We'll tell you what. While we try to get one Nora in the house, we are gonna pull up a video of somebody who had thoughts that they wanted to share about GB as well. So let's take a look at that right now. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. I don't want to miss this opportunity to talk about my friend, Gwendolyn Brooks, and her love for desserts. The first time I invited her to JMU was in 1986. And I remember she took us out to dinner. And before we even had our first course, she said, now save enough room because I want you all to have dessert. And to my daughter, she said, you may have 3 desserts. Well, my daughter, Jacia Nail Gabba, never forgot that. She said to her friends in her class, I met a poet who allowed me to have 3 desserts. And of course, she ordered 3. She didn't eat 3. And I remember fast forward to the last time she came to JMU, and that was in 1999. And I sent her home with a 3-layer caramel cake. She thought that was her favorite cake. And I hope she got most of it home. And I hope that Nora got some of that cake, but I wasn't going to be sure about that. But I just wanted to remember the sweet tooth of Gwendolyn Brooks. Bye-bye now.
All right. Now, the question becomes, and this is the question that I've been wanting to hear the answer to. Nora, did you get any of that cake?
No, no, I did not get any of that cake, and that's not the first time that happened. My mother went out to visit relatives of ours in California. I had gone out there to visit them before too, but this time she had gone out to visit them by herself. My great aunt Viola and my cousin, whatever, second, 30, 28th. I've never known how to do those cousin numbers. 17 times removed, I don't know. But they sent her back with chocolate fudge, and it was supposed to be for her and for me. And it turned out that I never heard about it until it was by accident, because she ate all that fudge on the train on her way home. So this is a pattern. This is
Okay.
Say again, sir.
I said, when did Nora find out about caramel?
I found out about the caramel cake in the video that Joanne just did. That's when I found out about the caramel cake. I never knew about the caramel cake before. It's an expose.
But
Wow.
the fudge, she made up a fudge.
Yeah, the fudge I found out because somebody in the family mentioned it around the time, not long after the trip, and just asked me how I liked the fudge. And it was very much a "what you talking about, Willis" kind of moment, because it was like, what fudge? I don't know what fudge. So yes, so just so you know that that yes, she was serious about desserts, about sweets. Um, whether they were at restaurants, at home, on the train, whatever, she took them very seriously and held them close.
I remember how she used to love hot. One time, we ordered I saw her Ziploc bag out of and put her leftovers in it. Truly real as real can be. So I quite neat, but it just
I missed that last thing. What?
showed the realness that she was.
Yeah.
Just how down the here
Yeah.
take a go to a posh restaurant, pull a bag out of her purse.
Yes.
I just always love that story. It always
And these were restaurants that even then, for the parties that she had, the checks were within could be in hundreds of dollars, and which brought us to the whole other issue we had about tipping, about her in restaurants and tipping, because she took tipping wherever she was very seriously. The red caps at the train would sometimes practically climb over each other to get to her bags and take her bags, because they knew that they were going to see something serious as a tip when she got off the train. And at restaurants, I gave up. I told her, this is what 20% is, and then it's like, you go ahead, you do you. Go be who you gotta be. Because her tips were usually more in the 33 and a third percent category. You know. So it's like, you do you.
As as a person who has worked as a server in several different restaurants, I, on behalf of all servers, say I appreciate you, Gwendolyn Brooks. Thank you for looking out for the little guy, because it's a painful experience. It is.
Yeah, I always respect the people who serve in restaurants. I know I could not ever do it. I would not be able to remember the different, what people had ordered and what went where to who, and I also cannot guarantee that there would not be oops if somebody was just rude and something didn't end up sliding off the tray and on to the evil patron. So
At least you're honest.
yeah. So I give thanks, and I tip well too. Not as well as Mama, but I do I do like to tip well. So But there are just so many food stories about Mama. One is soggy bread.
Oh yeah.
My mother did not eat anything that she considered soggy bread, and that was a very wide category. So it was pizza, jump in anywhere. It was sandwiches. It was what
Um, um,
else?
They do dumplings.
Dumplings.
No,
She didn't do dumplings.
okay. Okay.
wow.
I,
I don't know
Tacos.
why. What were you saying, Nora?
I said tacos. She didn't do tacos.
oh,
Okay.
okay. Uh, okay. This puts this in a new perspective for me. So she didn't like pancakes?
Nope. Wouldn't do pancakes. She would do waffles, but she would only lightly lace the waffle with syrup, which is completely counter to me because I see waffles and pancakes as a vehicle for syrup. They can kind of like float down the plate, but she would only put a little tiny bit so that it would not decrispify her waffle.
Wow.
So yes.
Now,
Wow.
may have not, been but we're not talking about bottled. Us,
I-
Can you can't hear me?
No,
Now
she
we
would.
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To give this is a list of the things: 5 deep red apple. She had a specific recipe that the use of that day. She had her recipe organized. She had like so
I missed the end of what you said. I'm sorry.
I said I was talking about yeah, recipes.
Oh,
And that juicer still exists today. So, but that
yeah.
And she kept trying to get me to drink greens juice. The greens juice she would make.
mhm.
Yeah, she kept trying to get me to drink that. And I didn't hear you.
I do greens juice now.
Yeah, I still don't. And she said that it was one time she was urging it on me, and she said, just try it. And I tried it, and she said, it'll help you live longer. And I said, no, it'll just feel longer. So
Wow.
so yeah, not so much a fan. But
Well, I mean, let us not forget, even though, there's that very healthy side, the whole juicing thing, and it's very good for you. Gwendolyn Brooks loved her ice cream.
yes, she did.
Yeah.
And as I understand, could occasionally consume an entire quart while watching TV.
Yes, yes. And if it was a half-gallon bucket, then my father
Uh-oh.
find that it had been severely diminished. You
Oh,
know, by the time he got back in from work, suddenly it was like, wait, where did this, what happened to it? So yes, she took ice cream. She took ice cream very seriously. So
I, it's a memory. I
I didn't hear that.
said memory correct. Is she only
Is she only like one kind of ice cream? Did you say?
vanilla?
Oh,
No, no. In fact, she ate vanilla, but one of her favorite ice creams was black walnut.
Oh, okay.
She loved black walnut ice cream. She also loved butter pecan. I think there's a theme here. But yes, yeah, those were a couple, and Neapolitan.
Okay.
So, and I think it was my father that liked spumoni.
Uh,
So yes, but yeah.
well, I,
And although she wasn't a big fan of cooking, um, there were certain things she could make. She made great red beans and rice. Uh, she she got the gene for making grandmother's apricot pie. I cannot find the recipe. I've tried to make it. It's not working yet, but I am committed to making this happen. Um, and dressing. And I wasn't a big fan of oysters. In fact, I hated oysters as a kid. But there was one exception to the rule, and that was my mother's oyster sage dressing, which was just awesome. And I do know how to make that.
yes.
And it was always bread, not corn. It was always cut up, torn up toast, not cornbread.
I'm gonna need some of that. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna need some of that their
I can do
oyster.
that. So, and food comes up in a lot of Mama's poems.
Yeah.
There's the cookies and stuff that she talks about in When You Have Forgotten Sunday. There's, of course, the Bean Eaters, poem. And there's another one that you were talking about earlier, Cynthia.
Yeah, when handed a lemon, make lemon.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
I've lived. When handed a lemon, make lemon. That when handed a there make handed a lemon. I, uh,
Uh-oh. You froze for a sec, Sam. What'd you say after the poem?
lemon, like that.
I'm laughing because you broke up again, so I didn't hear what you said that time either.
Make lemonade.
All right. So we got another memory, right, Nora?
Yes. Yes, we did. Um, one of the people who used to work with one of the people who used to work with with Brooks for Missions. In fact, she was part of the original triangle of me, Cynthia, and Carolyn Aguila. And so Carolyn was kind enough to also send in a memory of my mother. And so um, hers was not a video. It was written down, and I'm gonna read it for you in just a second. But while I'm pulling that, um, because it's talking about mama and writing, and so um, there was something else I think that we can share.
Sure. Would that be the next piece?
I think so.
All right.
Something art or something.
Perhaps it could be. And I'll give you that right now. It's the Gwendolyn Brooks piece entitled Art, also found in Seasons. Art can survive. The last bugle of the last bureaucrat can survive the inarticulate choirs of the Oh my goodness, I almost stumble on this word. I'm going to be very honest. I always stumble on this word. Make it tear?
Yes.
Thank
Make
you.
tears.
I always stumble on that word. Art can survive. The last bugle of the last bureaucrat can survive the inarticulate choirs of the maketeers, the stolid in the stately places, all flabby gallantries, all that will fall. Lending our strength to keep art breathing, we doubly extend, refine, we clarify, leading ourselves, the halt, the harried, through the icy carols and bayonets of this hour, the divisions, vanities, the bent flowers of this hour. We hail what heals and sponsors and restores.
Which was my mother's definition, one of her definitions of art. She also talks in the Picasso poem about how art hurts, art urges voyages. And she had been doing that art for a long time. She started writing when she was 7 years old. And the piece I wanted to share with you about from Carolyn Aguila, I'm going to do in a couple of minutes. But um, she started writing when she was 7, which was really cool because grandmother really supported her, and grandfather, of course, too, um, really supported her in this. And what probably didn't make Raymond, my uncle, happy was that when she was writing, she didn't have to do her chores. She got a dispensation. And in fact, sometimes he might have to pick up a chore or two of hers. So yes. But wow, we've gotten so happy talking about some of this that we may need to talk a little bit faster or cut some things out because I see we're running close to our end time. But so yes, so I think I'm going to do share Carolyn's piece in a second when we're talking about young writers. But I think first of all, after my mother would start writing at 7, and she put these little books together. Sometimes those were handwritten, but she also loved, drum roll, you know where I'm going, Sam.
Where am I going?
Her typewriters.
Oh, yes. Goodness gracious. She always used manual typewriters. Grow with technology. And she grew, but she grew with her manual typewriter. Actually, the American Writers Museum did a display and included her. So she could grow with what's the type, manual stuff, but and you tried to get
I didn't hear that last piece.
you tried to get her to use the computer, didn't you?
I did. She did. I think I heard you mention that she played with the electric very briefly and kicked that to the curb. But Etta Moulton Barnett, a famous icon of the period, who was older than Mama, was reported as working on a computer at 90, and so I was nudging Mama and saying, "Well, she's doing it at 90, you know." Don't you want to at least, she's doing it at 90, you don't want to just not be trying this and stuff. And she said, well, maybe I'll try it. She never did, but that was as close as she got to even consider. She had at least started considering the possibility of doing, of trying a computer. So who knows? She might have been headed in the direction. So yes. One piece that besides working on her poems and stuff on typewriter and creating her own books and everything, she also critiqued other people's work, and she did it with, can you say it with me? 1, 2, 3. Red
ink.
Also referred to as bleeding all over people's stuff. Yeah. So and I was very selective about the pieces of my writing that I showed her, because I knew that if I showed her something, Mama left and Gwendolyn Brooks came in the room and sat down and critiqued that piece, So if she saw a play that I had done, or if she saw me when I was dancing or something like that, Mama was there. Oh, that's so wonderful. Oh, that's so good. Please read this poem. Red ink, glasses, Gwendolyn Brooks, paper.
Only with the poem, right?
What?
She also did it. Am I having a hard time coming through?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be holding this in my hand. She also did it with newspaper articles, reports, well, of course, her students. She definitely had it with her students. But she used it on other things too, besides the writings. Well, I guess it was all writings, however, not all
That
poetry.
yes, there are books in her library, the lot that we still have, and um, what you were saying, just marginalia, just all through, whether it was a book or TV guide. You're right. She was she was commenting.
Yeah, I would get in fear. I had to turn a report into her. And the one time, no marks, and she said, "This is really good." I will treasure that moment forever.
so so we have two people that sent in things. I want to share Carolyn's first. She said, one afternoon, Gwendolyn and I were on the phone discussing an upcoming engagement. Once again, she was set to conduct a reading and undoubtedly one of her legendary book signings. As her speaking agent, I was concerned with all of the small details that could make such a program problematic. For Gwendolyn, this also meant a time when she could inquire about my own writing and make sure that I was paying attention to this other important work. Everything feels stale right now, I answered. I feel like I'm writing the same words over and over. I want a new word for the. She chuckled. Then you'll have to invent one. I too chuckled, but she continued a bit more solemnly. If you really feel this way, she stated, if language is really that dry, then stop writing. It's time to read and find something else to do with your hands. This is some of the best advice I've ever received. It's just practical. At the time, it allowed me to take a break and direct my creative energy into something else that would likely spark inspiration. It renewed my love for all the ways that words can dance and ideas can sing. She was right, of course. This advice has worked every time. I pass it on with all my gratitude to Gwen.
Mhm.
Nice.
And that just leads us right into another story about her and young writers.
All right, here we go.
My name is Mike Pewican. I've had the pleasure to meet Gwendolyn Brooks a few times. The first was when I was a very beginning baby poet, and I entered the Gwendolyn Brooks Open Mic Awards. This is a contest put together by Gwendolyn Brooks and the Guild Complex. She put up the $500 prize money. In fact, when a winner was announced, she'd walk up onto the stage, write that person a check, and hand it to them. She wasn't a judge, but she sat through more than 3 hours of watching poet after poet read their work. That night, I sat in the audience waiting for my name to be called, and about halfway through I walked up onto the stage, read my poem, and sat down. And while I was watching the next poet, someone tapped me on my shoulder, handed me a note, and said, "This is from Gwendolyn." Now, I did not win the $500 prize that night, but the encouragement that I received from her has lasted much longer than that $500.
Ah, there we go.
I just think that piece is so touching.
Absolutely love it.
And I think he stands in as a representative for so many people that
with
Your
the different time
your
between
sound's kind of breaking up, Nora.
the tape.
Your, your sound's kind of breaking up. But that's okay. That's okay. We just gonna keep on rolling because we are short on time.
It's okay. So
Uh-oh.
I don't know if that's just on my end.
Yeah, there's like a weird buzz happening or something.
We were almost at the end. I think what it's just run down some of her real quickly, some of her likes and dislikes, because my mother felt strongly about a lot of things.
Absolutely. So, well, okay. One of the things that we know that she loved, we know Gwendolyn Brooks loved yellow dandelions. It's one of her favorite things in the world.
There, well, the book for a while.
I couldn't hear it at all.
You can't hear? Am I coming through to you? Sherry?
I can hear you. There's something happening with your sound, Nora.
Okay. Is that better?
No.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of the cover?
I have the new cover.
Yeah.
We're almost, we're pretty much at the end.
Yeah, it's just showing the dandelion. Love dandelion.
Yeah.
Another thing she did not like was makeup.
You did not like
No.
makeup.
Nope. Are we going to skip to one more piece? A reading?
I think we should, just because sound and everything is kind of weird, and we are running low on time. So,
Well,
We may need to wrap this up and share some of these other things on a later date.
I
that
think
sounds
you
good.
wrapped it. Understood. Wrapped it up. What?
Sam, you can tell them about all the people. How to get me.
Oh yes. See.
We got you, sir.
Hmm?
Go for it, Sam.
The paperback copy. Okay, our paperback copy is $17.95. Hardbound is $27.95. And you can go on the Gwendolyn Brooks website and order it. That's gwendolynbrooks.net. And we'll get it out to you as soon as possible. Yeah, there it is. So,
And I guess
do we have?
before we
go
leave,
ahead.
we could leave with one more poem before we depart. Oh!
What's that?
I was trying to see it. We froze.
Oh, she's
showing some of the illustrations. Yes.
Yeah.
There are beautiful illustrations in the book from Jan Spivey Gilchrist. There are amazing imagery and memories from everyone who included words in this edition. So before we cut out, we're going to do one more piece just to, keep our tradition alive of beginning and ending with Mama. I guess let's do one encouraging. Sin, do you want to read to those of our sisters?
Sure.
All right.
What page is that?
That would be on 54.
Okay. Gonna sit this down. Can you hear me?
Yes. And remember, all the pieces we've read today can be found in Seasons.
Okay, ready.
Take it away.
Sisters, I love you because you love you, because you are erect, because you are also bent. In season, stern, kind, crisp, soft, in season. And you withhold, and you extend, and you step out, and you go back, and you extend again. Your eyes, soft with crying and with smiles, are older than 1,000,000 years, and they are young. You reach in season and subside in season, and all below the rich, rough night time of your hair. And that really is right time of your hair. You have not bought Brodeen. You have not held the hot comb recently. You never worship Marilyn Monroe. You say, Farrah's hair is hers. You have not wanted to be white, nor have you testified to adoration of that state with the advertisement of imitation. Never successful because the hot comb is laughing too. But on the rough, dark, other music, the real, the right, the natural respect of self and seal. Sisters, your hair is celebration in the world.
All right. With that said, thank you everyone for joining us for this edition of the GB7. Poets are people too. We hope that you learned something about Gwendolyn Brooks this evening, and we hope that you'll follow us on social, and we hope that you'll visit the website, gwendolynbrooks.net, for all of your licensing needs and anything involving more education, or, as we said, to purchase the amazing book Seasons of Gwendolyn Brooks Experience. That being said, pay attention to our social media for our next GB7 coming up in June for the celebration of Gwendolyn Brooks' birthday. Stay tuned, folks, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.